People want to return to normal, you know, because Ahyuck, that's pretty much it. Ahyuck, yuck, yuck. Country dumbass bumpkins. City dumbasses. Rural idiots. That's all you got. Let me prove it. Let me prove it. I'm going to prove it. All right. You know what was happening before COVID-19? Mass shootings. A lot of suicides. Religious people going into innocuous groups screaming how evil and vile they are. That's where we were. You know else where we were? We were at your healthcare system, making sure that you give a lot of money to them, and when you need it, they dump you. Or they won't cover like 90% of it. You got to come out of pocket 90%, sometimes 40, sometimes 60. You know where we were? EpiPens. They used to be $50. That was in the 80s. In the 90s, it was on average like $60, $64, sometimes $70, you know, and that was price gouging. And then in 2000s, they were $110, $120. And then just a few years after, you know, about just last year, honestly, EpiPens, actually no, just a year after Trump got in, EpiPens went up to $2,100. Wait, $1,800 to $2,100 for a single EpiPen. Something that is literally disposable. That's where we were. You know what else where we were? We were at, oh wait, it's always been that way. You going to work, staying away from your family, not being around your loved ones, and then 1/3 of everything you earn going to the federal and the state. And then at the end of the year, where your belief, that stupid shit you do, yeah, your belief is you get it all back when they only give you 1/3 back of the 1/3 of everything that you put in. You know where that money goes? It didn't go to infrastructure. It went into the raises and salaries of politicians, and collectively we were paying subsidies, welfare queens, to big oil, big pharma, and other places. Because those companies use some of that money to pay off politicians. That's where we were. That's where we were. We put in 1/3 of our hard work into the pockets of the government, into the pockets of these big donors and lobbyists. We pay a lot of money for Medicare, for, you know, just our medical insurance through companies, or just out of pocket. And then they make sure that we don't get that, help. We're also in the area of where, you know, Walmart, you know, that family, taking out life insurance policies on every elder person they hire, especially those that they know are terminal, and then cashing in on it. That's where we were. That's where we were. You know where we were? We're in a housing crisis. People can't afford them. Bubbles are bursting, slowly, surely. You know, that's where we were. That's where we were. Anybody remember that? Anybody? Remember that? I remember that. I remember. I know you remember. Remember going to work, busting your ass, wishing you had more money, but you can't get more money. And if you ask for more money, they're going to laugh at you. You know, while your supervisor, your manager, and all that, they're making like $25, $35 an hour, sometimes $40 an hour. And you sitting there busting your ass, making $7, $8, $9, maybe if you feel fortunate, $10 an hour. Remember that shit? I remember. Remember being mad about it and then saying we need $15 an hour, but yet don't raise the minimum wage at the same time, because the companies are going to, raise the prices on everything. That thing that you say, don't raise the minimum wage because the companies are going to raise their prices. It's going to cause inflation. And then the prices don't get raised ever. But yet the prices of everything keep going up. Remember that? You remember that? I remember. I remember that shit like it was just last year. That's what I remember. I remember kids not having, money for food at school and then getting shamed for it. That's what I remember. Kids starving to death. No one gave a fuck about the parents. Oh, let's save the children. Fuck the parents. I remember saying, get more money. I remember hearing that. More money for teachers. Remember that? And then what the politicians said. Don't you remember that? The politicians, they all saying that teachers make way too much money. You remember that? The teachers that make so much money, they have to crowdsource from parents that barely got any money to pay for shit like paper towels, pens, pencils, erasers. You remember that? Remember finding out how much teachers really make? All the shit they put in to go to college, to become a teacher, to get out and stay in debt? Remember the credit card companies? Remember how they go into Washington and literally write bills? Remember that? Remember the minorities that can't say shit, don't have power or nothing? And certain farmers got deregulated so they can shoot pig feces and shit into their yards because the white people didn't want it? I remember that shit like it was just 2 years ago. You remember fighting so hard for, Standing Rock to help stand their ground so that the government doesn't break that treaty, that federal treaty to not disrupt their lands, to defile their lands? None of that. Remember Obama doing it? Obama allowed it. Trump encourages it. Remember that? Oh yeah, not Trump, but Obama, he did sign some shit saying don't do it. And then when they did it, he was like, oh, I can't do nothing about it. Remember this whole, woke country about weed, how weed is legal, well not legal, but it's illegal and it's wrong, that it's illegal, that it should be legalized, not decriminalized, it should be legalized. Remember Obama was against it, he got out of office and said, I wish there was somebody that could have done something about it. Remember how people got, in California and Colorado, they opened up dispensaries, made lots of money for their state, and then the dispensaries got raided? I remember that. I remember people with cancer. They got cancer, but since there's no opioids, that's not allowed because just run amok with that shit. But you can't have weed, which would actually help. Oh no, pump it full of opioids. Pump full of that cocaine, that heroin. Give them that hard shit. But it's okay because, it's done by the government. So it's fine. People dying left and right. Yeah, I remember that. I remember all that shit like it was 2019. That's what I remember. I remember people being on the street homeless, broke, nothing to have. Nothing. Nothing to their name. Barely even their name. And they're dying. Getting shot by cops. I remember lots of unarmed black people getting shot and killed by cops. No one gave a fuck. I remember that like it was during Obama's time. And then I remember no one gave a shit. But then all of a sudden these white people started getting shot up by the cops. And now everybody got something to say. You remember that shit? I remember that shit like it was 2018. That's what I do. And every last one of you stupid motherfuckers want to return to that normacy. That's what you want to be normal. You want to go bust your ass so that the federal can make money off you and then give it to these big wigs. You want it so that a alleged, if not damn near should have been convicted rapist can sit on the Supreme Court. I mean, well, why is that such a stretch? You got one as president, and well, shit, since the bar is so low, let's put another one on the presidential campaign. Let's put him there. Let's not vote for the motherfucker that's not a rapist. That would break my fucking heart. No, let's push out the one that's actually for the people, by the people. You know, let's push out the one that's done so great for his state that he wants to do great for all the states. Let's push him out and push in the one that don't know his wife from his sister, the one that gives an oration to a wall. Let's do that. Let's do to the one that does a live stream but don't know what the fuck he's gonna say. Let's talk about the one that's clearly has molested people. Let's talk about the one that can't control his temper when someone's asking him a legit question and gotta grab him by the collar, grab him by the lapels, and then tell him to chill and relax. Someone that couldn't answer a question, but he wants to sit there and insult somebody's weight. Let's go with this motherfucker. Let's go with the one thing that people enjoy doing the most. Let's do this. Let's do the one thing that people love doing the most. Let's not vote for anyone that makes any remote sense to be in office that can do something for everyone. Vote for the dumbest motherfuckers possible, because Ahyuck, and then when it's only down to one dumbass or a worse dumbass, we have to choose the lesser of two dumbasses every single time. And then while that's happening, demonize everybody that's sick of that shit, that just wants actual change. Let's demonize those that want to vote for somebody that's actually positive. Let's rally the troops. Let's rally the people. Let's rally all of our children and elders around people that don't give a shit about anyone. That's our favorite fucking pastime. And you want to go out to normalcy. You want to go back to all that shit. That's what you've been struggling for? That's what the protest's been for? That's what you want to go out and breathe in COVID-19 for? That's what you want to spread it to your family? That's what you want? You want to go back to that shit? Or is it just you just want your hair to be pretty? Your first world problems. I need a haircut. I want ice cream. Bunch of bitches. Every last one of you. You want to go back to normal in the face of outright plausible death. Because it's there. You think the 50,000 that's died in the past week is one thing? Wait until this shit goes unfettered. And I promise you, I guarantee you, all these countries that's recovering, they're going to block air travel from the U.S. to them. I promise you. And just like every dumbass out there in the United States, you're going to play the victim. They're not letting us go there and cough on them and infect them. Because the very thing that you was demonizing Wuhan, China for, that's exactly what the fuck we've become. And now they get the chance to call it the U.S. virus, because they would have stomped it out in a few more months. And we're a petri dish. And we can't wait to see that shit grow. How many of us can we kill in the next year? It's all a hoax. It's all a hoax. And then people die. Yeah. I'm comparative reasoning for a fucking reason. And everyone doesn't listen to me for that same reason. This has been Cedric Kennedy for Comparative Reasoning. Thank you for listening.